Welcome everybody to another live stream event of your favorite YouTube channel for all your prison and lockup related needs. Lockdown 23 in 1. That's right, and today we are going live to speak about a wild situation from the penitentiary. And look, before we get going, I want to apologize for the last recent videos that I've uploaded. I've had to remove. I don't know what's going on. How many people, right before I hit 1 million subscribers, what's going on? But people have got to be reporting the hell out of me for nothing, you know, sabotagers or something, man, for the littlest of things. And I just want to apologize to y'all if you see them getting removed. That's why, man. So hopefully that stuff slows down. They start realizing it's bogus, you know, or something. I don't know. But either way, today we got some breaking news. Well, it happened yesterday morning, but I think all the articles are coming out right now. Let me go ahead and pull up a picture of the guy that we're going to be speaking about. His name is Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins. And he is the ex-Lostprophets frontman. You know, I never really listened to them, but I've heard them on the radio, stuff like that. He just got, well, first off, he was in prison for some extremely horrendous crimes. All right, first off, all right, just let's put that out there. Even over here in the U.S., if he ain't in like a PC facility, cell block with those kind of crimes, he would have got probably the same kind of way. But let me go ahead and start reading a little bit from this article that's going to break down the situation. It says, the prison was plunged into lockdown after what appeared to be a pre-planned attack. The ex-Lostprophets frontman was ambushed and had, man oh man, his throat slashed after the cons were unlocked from their cells at around 9:39 a.m. this morning. Appreciate that, Ian. Thank you, my friend. I'll get to your donations, or whatever you call them things, here in a second. Police and medics raced to Wakefield Prison, West Yorkshire. All right, we're in the UK. We traveled across the pond with this one, but it's still, there's been a lot of, I guess you could say, activities, especially with female guards over there across the pond, man. I don't know what's going on. They must have a mean talk game, the inmates. But either way, the West Yorkshire prison dubbed Monster Mansion. But the stricken, disgraced singer could not be saved. Man, these articles have a way with words, don't they? Let's get some. I want to do it live. I'm doing it live, so I want to get to some of y'all's comments. Real Human says, Shanksgiving came early. Ah. That's a dicey comment, man. That's a dicey one. But let's just go ahead before people get out of control, all right? Watkins, 48, who was serving 35 years for a string of child sexual offenses, including, I'm not going to go into it, but sexual offenses against a baby. In the most high-profile inmate to be killed in the UK jail in living memory. He died from blood loss after having his jugular slashed. And, you know, look, it's funny how this, I watch a lot of videos, right, y'all? Some very graphic videos. Sometimes I can't believe they're even on the platform that I'm watching. I mean, I will sit there for like 30 minutes watching some graphic stuff. And when that jugular is clipped up, I mean, there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. It's just like everywhere. It's just you can't stop it, man. You know, it's almost inevitable. But it says 2 men aged 25 and 43 have been arrested in suspicion of murder and are currently in police custody, according to West Yorkshire Police. 25 and 43. That right there in itself would say 100% it was a planned hit, you know? Whether it was just between them two, in the cell, they were cellmates, they hated dude, they're like, yo, we gotta straighten this guy out, we're gonna do it right now, or you know, it came down from some higher level. I don't know how the structure is in UK prisons, but they, as you can see, they ain't standing for people with this type of paperwork as well. It don't matter if you're ex-frontman or not. I'm late, but I'm here, people. Aren't you lucky? Yeah, Dave, Sniper, we're lucky to have you in the presence, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Let me get to some of these comments. We are live. I got to keep reminding myself that him and his missus. Oh, did his missus get locked up as well? I didn't follow this story. I think I did a little video on it in the past, but I didn't follow up all the way with it. Damn, based on his charges, I'm surprised he made it this long. Yeah, you know what? And that's what I was just thinking. Like, did he just get transferred to this block where they have some kind of open cell door, you know, more of an open moving around? I don't know how the procedure is in the UK. I've had a couple people on tell their story. I can't remember if they have like PC units or what. Maybe someone can elaborate in the comments that's been down there. But it says only one of the lags arrested. What is lag? Is that like a chum, friend, person? Only one of the lags arrested is alleged to have wielded the weapon during the attack, they added. A source said that Watkins has been killed in the most brutal way possible, and the attack was shocking, even by prison standards. Wow. He was targeted by another inmate who shanked him in the neck. Guards were nearby and raced to the scene pretty quickly, but there was nothing they could do, and they could not save him. Mr. Man, appreciate the 10 clip. Yup. Homeboy, as you can see, man, you know, I'm not gonna lie though, when I first seen this dude's photo, he was giving me like Negan vibes. The prison look, that hair is like a straight ex-con looking hairdo, you know? He got for sure in the jugular, y'all. He ain't, singing days is over, man. That's what you get when you mess with babies, right? What kind of freak show mess with babies? Sickening. Sickening. It wasn't lads, bro. It says lags. I think they might have meant to say lads. I don't know, but you know that UK lingo is totally different from what I'm used to. But they went on to say that it was a horrific scene with blood everywhere and alarms or sirens going off. Police and ambulances were called, and the whole prison was locked down with all cons confined to their cells. He's been attacked a few times inside Wakefield over the last few years, so perhaps this was just a matter of time. The bloke who got him this time went for his jugular, and it looks like it was a planned attack. Watkins was obviously high profile, and an in for most. See, I got all these windows popping up in my freaking phone. Watkins was obviously high profile and in for the most disgusting crimes. So that meant that he was walking around with a target on his back. And this has happened. Despite who he was, it was really shocking and gruesome. He had to have been in some kind of block that it wasn't some kind of PC block. I don't even know if y'all got that in UK. Anybody done time in the UK can tell us a little bit about that? You know, I guess they need to start running it like they do over there. Like our brothers and sisters across the pond, as we say, I like to say. They need to put everybody into GP, man. They don't need to be getting no special cell blocks. It's prison. Prison, man. You know? Even if you ain't got bad paperwork, when you throw these little young bucks in there soft as cotton, you know, their lives are pretty much ruined. So why not put someone in there with some sex crimes? It makes no sense to me. You know, but everybody should be put together. I mean, I understand, like, levels of crimes, but you know how it goes. That separation, you know, murderers shouldn't be with short timers, but at the same time, there shouldn't be no special blocks for anybody, man. You know, unless they know for sure he's gonna, you know, I don't know. There's all kinds of crap in that game. It's called Monster Mansion for a reason. Yeah, I need to do some research, do a little docu-style video on it. Over here in New Zealand, we have PC Yard, says Chilean Gringo. That's why I call my dad the Gringo. The whole prison's full of bacon, says Top Cat. What's bacon's? Police? I don't know what that means, but it says experienced, continue with the article. Experienced officers and a lot of the other prisoners were in absolute shock after what happened, and a lot of them saw the awful scene. The inmate who attacked him used a shank knife, and he was apprehended pretty quickly. There was not much doubt about who had done it. Investigations into Watkins' death are still ongoing. We were told how in August 2023, while serving his sentence, the ex-rocker was taken to a hospital after being stabbed in another prison attack. So yeah, he was getting stabbed up and attacked all over the place. I guess he was just going about his business like a normal inmate over there in the UK, but when you got crimes like that, there's nothing normal about it, man. And I guess if it was a shock value to it, that crap was probably spraying everywhere. That's probably what made it really shocking, you know? Greg Benton says, yeah, Michigan put sex offenders together a lot of the times, but many that aren't just get extorted for monthly payments. Yeah, well, you know, it all boils down to what do you got to lose, right? You know, I slammed a dude off the top rack. I thought I killed him, you know, but I didn't want to. You know, I didn't want that to happen. I was a short timer, I had a lot to lose. So when he woke up, thank goodness, right? You know, but some guys, it doesn't matter if they got a lot to lose or not. They just can't live or be around someone like that. It makes them boil inside, and it triggers them, man. You know, triggers an already mental issue that's already there. You gotta understand, dude's in prison, man. I got some mental issues. At least the prisons I was in, man. Complete violence. What's up, Felipe? How are you doing? Any fans of the Lost Prophets in here? Was there any former fans of this individual in the chat right now? You know, I can only imagine, you know, my favorite, let's put, for instance, to put someone else, not to like stamp no one or nothing, but one of my favorite rock metal guys, you know, of course, is Korn, the group Korn. I like Korn. I've always liked them, man. So if I were to flip it, I'd be in complete shock, right? And to see him go out and to see it go out like that, man, yeah, you know. So if there's any fans in there, used to be, says Red X, yeah, I can only imagine how much of a shocker it is to y'all. What did this guy do to get locked up? He did sexual acts with children, babies, or just sex crimes, man, against children. Yeah, Korn ain't got nothing weird. I'm just putting into a hypothetical situation, you know what I mean? Like, my favorite rocker, you know. I try to put myself in everybody's shoes, man, you know, and it would be a complete shocker to me to see that. But they said that the cell doors open. There was two guys. Probably one guy maybe got his attention while the other guy rolled up on him, plucked him. Psst. That's all it takes. Psst. Man, I've seen so many videos on the streets, right, of dudes just like doing normal things, getting their hair cut at the outside bar, walking down the street. So many videos of dudes just walking up to them, popping them. Psst. You know? Game over. So many. So just imagine in prison, if someone gets your attention, or in prison, I've seen it numerous times, dudes getting guys' attention. Next thing you know, it's all set up. You know, I don't know how exactly it went down. They broke down to more details, but if I were to guess, that's probably what happened. Or maybe one dude held him while the other guy did it. You know, only one guy had a weapon. He's a lost prophet now. I don't know if he was ever a prophet, my friend. That's up to the eyes of the beholder, I guess. Not that he wasn't one to me. Who's the email guy? It's Ian Watkins, frontman singer, whatever, frontman of Lostprophets, the band Lostprophets. Go check it out. I'm sure there's some videos out there of him singing. I don't doubt his talent. He might have had, you know, if I remember correctly, like I said, I heard on the radio, unless I'm mistaken, from a different band, and they're pretty good. A couple songs, if I remember. But look, UK's been jumping lately, man. I've been reading a lot of stories. Oh yeah, let me read this. It says violence is rife. I don't know what they're using UK words here. Violence is in a rise in UK prisons, although murders are rare. In 2 recent cases, convicted murderer John Mansfield was killed in a high-security HMP Whitmore camps in April, and Dennis Green, 42, died after being attacked in Fossway Prison. So even though these deaths are rare, it's happening. People are getting stabbed up, not to mention, like I said, then female guards are getting active, man. I think I've covered like 3 stories now of them doing relations with the inmates, bringing all kinds of things in, man. Rife, very common. Oh, okay. My dictionary has increased a bit. Love it. It always increases a bit when I do UK stories. You know? Yeah, I did an interview today, man, and I had to get rid of it because, well, it's under review, I guess, or whatever. I don't know what's going on with that thing, man. It had to have been reported. Someone's really not trying to see me get to 1 million or something. I don't know, but in that video, dude was talking about how they found guys with bad paperwork, sex crimes and stuff like that, even though they didn't check paperwork when they did find out if they got on their radar or something. They were torturing them dudes with, like, electricity. I've never heard that in the prison system, but it makes sense. I've seen some crazy stuff, man, but I can only imagine. Like, the stories that I've covered makes horror movies seem soft. Like the worst of the horror movies, man. Just imagine being in a cell next to these type of things happening. Shell shock for life. Why was he locked up? He was locked up for sex crimes against children, babies, stuff like that, man. Horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. No sympathy here. No. I'm not asking for no sympathy. Not at all. I'm just asking for a like. And if you're new, hit that subscribe notification bell because this is the best channel for lockup related content. I'm here to tell you. You know, I've been ripping and running with family the last week, so the video uploads have been a little slow, not to mention, like I said, I don't know who's out there trying to sabotage my family-friendly channel, but it ain't gonna work. Not the... Yeah, bro. Unfortunately. I'll tap into the article just a little bit for the refresher for people coming in. Okay? Bobby don't deserve no damn million, man. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm not going to read it. I'll just break it down to you, all right? They did cell break. What they say, 9:30 in the morning? Probably getting ready for, let me read what time they opened up the cells. It says around 9:39 a.m. They're unlocked from their cells. Let me read this. So if it was 9:30 a.m. and they're unlocked from their cells, they're probably going to like either programs or the yard, one or the other, right? 9:39. It always seems like a lot of people die early in the morning. They're probably plotting and planning, sitting in that cell, waiting, thinking how they're gonna get them. You know, I remember I was in cells with dudes. There, as soon as the cell doors would pop, they'd be ready to go fight, and they would be sitting there plotting and planning. Same concept, but I can only imagine you doing it to kill someone. Like, how are you gonna do it, man? You know, just all you got to do is sit in that cell in the dark and think about how you're gonna end another person's life in the cell block right next to you. He has no idea that you're about to do it, right? You know that he doesn't know the breaths he's taking tonight is the last ones he's gonna take. You know it. You know you're gonna be the one taking it, but dude has no idea. He thinks he's gonna go program tomorrow. That's wild, and it happens like that all the time. In prison, homeboy, he probably knew for a fact it was coming. He knew. But what can he do? All he can do is live. All you can do is live, ladies and gentlemen. It said that he died from blood loss after having his jugular slashed. Crazy, crazy. And like I said, I seen probably one of the most, it wasn't probably, it was the most gruesome prison stabbing video I've ever seen in my life the other day. I mean, unbelievable. And the ending, after dude was stabbed like, it had been 300 times by two dudes. The ending stab was just, wow, unreal. Unreal. Pure brutal. Prisons is dangerous, y'all, man. Stay free. I don't know how I made it out unscathed with all the crazy stuff I was doing, man. Hey, I'm telling you, man, these prisons ain't no joke these days. I look back, don't know how the hell I did it. Yeah, there's no, Mush says, yeah, there's no way he didn't know it would happen. Yeah, I guarantee he knew it was going to happen. But he didn't know it was going to go out like that day. No one ever really does, you know? But for it to be a planned hit, it seems like there's some structure over there in the UK somewhat. I don't know if it came, I don't know how the gang stuff goes. I've heard a little somewhat. Not enough to speak on, but, I think this dude was just too popular, had some horrendous charges, and numerous people had it out for him. All there is to it. I don't even think the inmates were probably forced to do it. They probably just really wanted to do it. You know, I wonder if has anyone broke down the charges of what those guys were in for? They didn't say. The two men aged 25 and 43 have been arrested on suspicion of murder and are currently in the police custody. Yeah, so they didn't really break down anything else about those individuals. If I were to guess, they probably had a lot of time to do. If I were to guess. Now, let's put this guy in the U.S., for instance. Let me just paint a picture for y'all. If this guy were in the United States prison system, he'd still be alive right now, eating honey buns. Guaranteed. Eating honey buns, doing phone calls from his pad, twiddling his fingers through the cotton balls in his pinky toe from his socks. He'd be enjoying his time in the cell right now if he was in the U.S., because that's what they do with these guys. In the majority of places, they put them in these special damn blocks with everyone exactly like them. And they flourish. No punishment whatsoever besides being away from the public. The community. He would be living just... As a matter of fact, he'd probably get out and crank up his music industry again. Who knows? He'd probably release an album from prison if he was in the U.S. So let that sit in. Maybe we need to learn a few things from our elderly brothers across the pond. No more special blocks for these monsters, man. No way, you know, and it makes me sick that, you know, because I'm a tax-paying person. It's going to it. It's going to protecting these dudes somewhere. Some fraction of a penny of my money had to have went there, right? That's how I look at it. What can you do, man? All you can do is live and pay Caesar his dues. You know, but that's crazy. But he wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Infinity. He definitely wasn't. He was in the UK, and they got him in the jugular, and they said it was the most horrific thing they've ever seen, even by prison standards. Yeah, well, I know one thing. They probably never seen or heard a scene like Homeboy from California that I covered that one time. Dude, skinned dude alive, pretty much. Pentagrams all over his body. Yeah, that's just walking nightmare cell right there. Not to mention a few others, man. I've covered some gruesome stories throughout time, y'all. And if you're new, like I said, you don't want to leave this channel if you're into lockup and crime-related content, man. This is the place to be. Yes, he has passed away. There was nothing they could do. He is dead. He died in prison, bleeding out from a jugular wound. Shank wound. Yep. You're wrong. I'm from the UK. There are special blocks here for them too. Okay. I never said there wasn't. I'm just assuming. Why would did he get got by other predators? Because it doesn't sound like he was in a special block. You know what I mean? If so, then he'd be all right. Ned is dead. Yeah, dude, that movie never gets old. I love that movie, man. I always skip a couple parts because it's just a little. But I always watch the end. That ending. Yeah, Bumba says he thinks it was a drug debt. I don't know about that, bro. Yeah, now let's put it into like someone just said. She said, or I don't know who it was. They said that they do have special blocks in the UK, which I'm sure they do. I really do believe they do. You know, I've watched movies of guys getting put into solitaire, like old Bronson, Charles Bronson, right? They throw him in solitaire all the time by himself. So I know there's special blocks, man, you know, but obviously not all sex offenders go to these blocks unless he was in there. So if he was in a special place, then that means other people with the same kind of crimes or close to it got him, you know? Then if that's true, then that's kind of rare. You know, typically those kind of blocks, those guys, you know, they live together peacefully. He looks like my father. Bro, he don't look nothing like the gringo, bro. He's got good hair, or had good hair. I ain't gonna lie about that. Charles Bronson, isn't he an old actor? He's a legend, man. Free Charles Bronson. Right this day immediately. He's learned his lesson. Wait. Did he pass away? No, I don't think he did. Man, please don't say he did. Why am I having a fainting memory of him maybe passing? Has he passed away, y'all? Charles Bronson? If not, good. They need to free him. He's learned his lesson. He passed a long time ago. No way. Oh man, I'm getting mixed answers. I don't know what to say here. I gotta fact check myself because the faint memory came to my mind that he did. Man, I'm not talking about the actor, y'all. He's still alive. He ain't dead. He born 1952. He's 72 years old. Bronson's still alive. Y'all are thinking about the actor, man, not the actor. That gun he had was massive. But anybody just popping into the scene, let me go ahead and break it down quickly one more time. It's live. So homeboy here is the ex-frontman for the group Lostprophets, all right? Very popular rock group, as you can see, emo or something. I don't know what you want to call them. But I like emo cats, to be honest. They're pretty cool. I vibe with them well. I vibe with everyone well, but emo cats they're cool to vibe with, man. As long as their frequency's right. You know what I mean? Some of them got some weird frequencies. But that's with everybody. Homeboy got stabbed in the jugular, shanked in the jugular. 2 inmates attacked him during, it says, 9:39 a.m. gate break or something. They released the inmates, and they got him in the jugular. They said it was one of the most brutalest things they've seen. The inmates, COs, so it's a big deal. Dude had some filthy charges, and it's just like the typical end result that you would hear out of a movie, a book, anything. Some things, they sound like myths, and they are myths in some prisons, but some places, some prisons, those myths are real life still. Like cheat taking, bandits, all that stuff, man. It's still going on. It's still going on to this day. And I would like to say that I was the first one to bring all this to the light, right? A lot of people still thought it was like some kind of like myths, and it didn't happen because it didn't happen in California. It didn't happen in the western states like talking about, right? But you go down south in the east, bro, these dudes victims. Talking about victim every day, all day status. Pure torture. So I had to show that how it is. Yes, Charles Bronson, the British gangster, but they made a movie on him. Homeboy made a movie on him. The dude that played Venom, I forgot his name. Good actor though. I think he played him pretty good if I were to guess. I don't know exactly. I can't really tell you how he was living in prison, but Bronson. But yeah, it was a good movie. Skagley says, what don't happen in California? Okay, well, let me clarify. It doesn't happen as frequently. I'm sure it does happen, but not in like those solidified penitentiaries, you know what I mean? And that's booty bandits, people running around taking people's cheeks. The majority of prisons, from what I heard, especially multiple stories from people doing serious time in California prisons, and that stuff is not allowed. So I don't know. I'm sure there's prisons, some anomalies. People are doing that still some places out there, but if I were to guess, it's very rare. See, the prisons I'm at, it's like every man for themselves. So you see someone getting something done to them, man, you just look the other way and hope it don't come your way, right? Oh well, bro. Damn. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Go over there and help, dude, and then what? And then what? You're gonna probably die. He might knock you out and do it to you. With 2 of his homeboys. It's just how it goes, man. And in other places, they got backup, man. They're structured and they got their own people with them, so it's different, man. Mistress Adina says, take care of these men, ladies. Look up the prison Send your love. That's right. Don't forget those good guys in prison, man. There's some good guys in there. You know, I was in there twice. And beating the odds, man. Beating the odds, you know. Turn my life around and doing stuff the right way. Doritos and phone swiping doesn't mix? No, it doesn't, man. No, it doesn't. You know what does mix with cheese Doritos, though, is tuna fish. I used to eat that in the penitentiary all the time, man. Tuna fish pouch with just some Doritos, some chips. Not Doritos, but, you know, some chips. Perplex Hayes says, if you have bad charges like this, dude, no car will take you. Car meaning, you know, group. Car group. Each car is a different group of people. And in many prisons, that's how they run. And if you got bad paperwork, you're not allowed to ride in the car. You're not allowed to ride with no people. Excuse me. No people. You're by yourself, and you're going to get got by yourself, too. You know, so if you ever hear that term, I was confused hearing a lot of this terms from the West Coast, but I got schooled on all that stuff pretty quickly. Twisted Fister says there's a lot of homosexuality in prison. Yes, the prisons I've seen, there is a lot. A lot, you know, but that's just life, bro. This is the thing. You're locked up with thousands of dudes, right? You got all these hundreds of dudes around you. Them dudes, a lot of them don't swing the same way you swing, man. You're going to see religions and beliefs that you've never even fathomed, you know? That's why I say when you 3 things not to talk about in prison, man, is religion, politics, and the next man, right? You don't talk about those 3 things because sooner or later it'll probably get you got. But yeah, a lot of prisons, you know, there's lovers, there's marriages, man. That's just stuff that comes with the territory. I don't know, man. I'm sure they have their own little cars somewhere in some prisons. They call it clicking up. I ain't click up with nobody. Y'all are looking at a real raw dog, old lone wolf, man. I'm not even playing. Not even playing. I was intermingling with every gang organization in there. But I minded my business, you know. Especially on my second bid. Who is Ian Watkins? I'll bring it up one more time. He's an ex-frontman to, you might have heard the group Lostprophets. I did a story in the past by him and his charges. He had some filthy crimes against babies, children, stuff like that, sex crimes and stuff. And he was just recently stabbed in the neck and the jugular in prison during gate break. 2 inmates attacked him in the morning. And you know, when the jugular's tapped into, there ain't really no stopping what's coming after that. As a matter of fact, I seen a video yesterday. Just yesterday. Dude walking in the city. He comes out. Look, listen. He comes out the damn city. I'm not going to name the city or anything, but he comes out of this like hot, expensive shopping store in the city. And he's walking his dog. I don't know if it's like some, I don't know. Or maybe it wasn't a shopping thing. Maybe it was, I don't know. He was coming out with a dog, though. It looked like a shopping store. All glass. Very nice. He comes out and this dude walks past him. He didn't say nothing to him or nothing. He just looked at him as he walked past, stopped where he was walking, turned around, walked up behind the dude walking his little tiny dog, right? Little tiny, like, poofy, I don't know what you call it, Pomeranians, right? Dude didn't even see it coming. Dude clipped him right in his neck. One shot, right? Dude drops the dog's leash, runs backwards. He's just freaking out. And as he's running backwards, I mean, it's like a hose. There's no stopping it, man. You know, I just seen that the other day. And that was like, you know, it's probably just pass out, all right? Anybody ever pass out from blood loss, you know? Perplex Hayes says Latinos run with the homies. Even if you're not from a gang outside, you are called resident homie. Then there are Pisces, not born in the USA, and homies who are active gang members. Yeah. Where are you talking about? Are you talking about California? Texas? Arizona? Anybody in the chat done time in the UK or, you know anything about it? Press 1 if you have. I'd like to ask you all a question. You're watching too much of that stuff, man. I know, bro. It's like you can't stop watching it. You know, their videos are like 420p, so it's not the best quality, all of them. I mean, I'm watching even factory freak, you know, freak accidents in the factories, man. Like, look, listen. All you gotta do is this. Pinch your skin. This little layer of skin is very durable, man. It's an amazing creation, right? But it's sensitive as hell. Super durable, but very sensitive, man. And man, oh man, you know, you gotta be careful, you know? Pop the wrong spot and it is game over. And I've been watching a lot of factory shit, man. These dudes, man, they get clipped up in the craziest ways. Craziest ways. Be careful in those factories. Wear your hard hats, man, and don't be leaning over no damn buttons, that's for sure. But the human body is extremely fragile. Extremely fragile. And when you realize how fragile the human body is, you'll do things differently, man. You know what I mean? You'll do things totally differently. And you realize how dangerous it is for an enemy just to take you out. Just one clip, just like Homeboy. He didn't see it coming. He probably didn't see it coming. You know, probably walking to chow, maybe breakfast. I don't know what time breakfast is called in UK, or going down to the yard. Next thing you know, he's done, right? So, fragile, man. Be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want to make the stream too long. I just wanted to do you a little video on this guy. And I also wanted to give you all an update on these last videos. My last 2 uploads. Man, yeah, I don't know who's trying to sabotage the channel, y'all, but we're gonna keep it moving. You know, it's family friendly over here with the taste of shock, you know, to keep people the hell out of prison, you know. And not only keep people out of prison, but maybe if you're having some filthy diabolical intentions, maybe it'll deter you to change your thought process, man, before you even commit the crime. Because I promise, you get caught up in the mix, man, you're gonna go out in the right prison. You're gonna go out just like this dude, you know. Chances are, if I were to guess. And shout out to anybody out there in the UK, you know. Stay free out there, anywhere. Lockup is not where you want to be. It's a waste of life. Complete waste of life. It's like you're alive but dead at the same time. Your family care about you, but no one ever cares about what's really going on in prison. You know, no one really does, besides, you know, this channel and the viewers. The majority of people, man, when you're in there, you are just like the Walking Dead, right? Alive but dead at the same time. So stay free. But tomorrow I'm going to have a montage of about 4 episodes of people getting sentenced, range from murder to robbery to abduction to theft, all right? And it's going to be a serious smoke show. Be ready for that. And anybody that likes the courtroom stuff, like I said, if you're new, tap that notification bell, set it to all, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing y'all tomorrow morning. Stay free, everybody.